I don't like the iPhone. So I've had a couple of iPhones in my life. I had an iPhone 4, an iPhone 8, an SE, another SE. The SEs don't really work, but that's beside the point. For my entire life, I've had some access to an iPhone, and now I'm a Mac user, so I've always been in the Apple world. But ever since I started buying my own phones, almost always it has been an Android. This was the first phone I ever bought with my own money, the Xiaomi Redmi Note 5e Prime. It was a good phone. Now Xiaomi phones kinda suck, but at the time it was a good phone and it got me very warm to Android. And I mean, later on I got a Pixel 3a, Xperia XZ1 Compact, a Pixel 4a. I've loved these phones, but I've also always been on iPhone. During most of 2022, I was constantly switching back from the iPhone to the Pixel. But during this entire time, I've always been happier with Android and Windows Phone, but that's for another day. And honestly, every attempt that I've made to go back to the iPhone has failed. A good example was my dual iPhone SEs. I like the SEs, and when I was a kid, it was kind of my dream phone, but I first got this gold one, which is 16 gigabytes. 16 gigabytes on an iPhone is absolute hell. It's completely unusable. I think I got this for like 40 bucks. But then I found this space gray 32 gigabyte iPhone SE on iOS 14. This had a lot of good things. The space gray was my favorite color on this phone. 32 gigs is fine. And iOS 14 meant I could jailbreak this. The problem was, first the screen was not working properly, so I bought a new one. But then my order got cancelled 3 times on 3 different vendors, which is why I ended up settling with this white one. And while I was installing it, I broke the home button. So, yeah. Also, iOS 14 is missing like Google Drive. Come on. And even then, the maximum version this can run is iOS 15, which is already almost 3 years old. Fast forward to this January. So I was thinking, my current phone situation is kind of unsustainable. The Pixel 4a I was using was already on its last version, and the XZ1 Compact was literally from 2017. You know, I wanted a phone that I knew that I could buy and I could use for like 3 years. Because during the past 2 years, I've bought like 10, 15 phones, oh my god. 7, okay, it's not that big of a deal. It's a big deal. I wanted one phone that I knew that I wasn't going to replace in a long time. So I went to a phone that when it came out, I fell in love with. The iPhone 12 mini. I remember when they pulled this out of the tiny case and I went, oh my god, I have to have this. Because if you couldn't tell with my other phone videos, I love small phones. And when Apple came out with the purple version, I really had to have this phone. But it was very, very, very expensive at the time. But now you can buy one refurbished with a new battery for about 350 bucks, which is okay for me. It's a bit pricey for what I'm used to, but it's a phone that I was going to use for a long time, okay? Also, this coincides with a little decision that I made earlier this year. I've always been a holder of the headphone jack until now. Yeah, I bought the Nothing ear sticks, and they're actually pretty good. I don't know if I'm gonna make a video about these, but I like them. So since iPhone has no headphone jack, I thought, well, now is the time to finally get into a properly high-end iPhone. And I regret that purchase so much. For starters, let's talk about the good stuff of this phone. It's small. It's not tiny, not mini, it's small. It's honestly a pretty good size. You can easily use it with one hand. Even with a case on it, it's good. And it's not that small that playing a game or, watching a video, it doesn't feel inappropriate on this. The second good thing hidden inside of this gargantuan notch is Face ID. I like Face ID, but it's not the best, but I've seen way worse. First of all, it's really fast. And it's also very consistent with its unlocks, which Google, what was the fingerprint sensor on the 3A? This sucked. The 4A is only slightly better. Okay, now it works because, I don't know, it decided to start working really well today. And for those who liked Apple's Touch ID, no. Touch ID sucks. Even on the iPhone 8, which is the last, Touch ID generation they did. It is so slow and inconsistent and it barely works. Fingerprint sensors are already, yeah. I never want to go back to this thing. Although I will want to say Face ID is not the best scanning sensor that I've seen. The best biometric unlock I've ever seen is the one in the Samsung Galaxy S22 and newer. It's an under-screen ultrasonic fingerprint reader, and it always works. Like, it's legit like a 99% success rate. It's really good. It's really fast as well. Even with like damn fingers, I can easily unlock my S22. A shame that I didn't like the rest of the Galaxy S22, but it's a pretty good camera. Yes, the video was shot on the S22, and it looks pretty nice. One thing that I have to praise Apple for, again in this gargantuan notch, is the front-facing camera. Samsung. Now look, I absolutely hate this notch, and we'll get to it in just a moment, but Samsung, you made it way too small. The front-facing camera on the S22 is absolute dog shit. I mean, just look at how it looks on this darker environment. It looks awful. For such an expensive high-end phone, this is pretty disappointing. Since Apple's notch is so big, they can actually fit a proper camera in there. And it's actually good. It's not the best, it's not gonna win any awards, but hey, at least it's fine. The other stuff that I like is that iOS feels way smoother to navigate with the gestures and this interface than with the home button. I strongly dislike the home button on all iPhones. I don't know, I just think that it never quite worked properly ever since like, I don't know, iOS 11. I really like what Apple did with the gestures. I think they're executed really well, maybe even better than Android, but the back button. I don't think Apple people know why the back button is so important to Android users. The fact that I can go back several pages by doing the same little gesture is amazing. Okay, prepare the whole situation. Let's say that I want to go back to the main settings page from this screen. So I have to tap, 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 go down, then swipe, swipe, and that's it, and then we'll swipe from the bottom. Why cannot I just do this repeatedly? I mean, yeah, the swipe across gesture works for the most part, but now iOS has a lot of like moving cards, and you have to like do this and swipe down and sometimes swipe up to the right. I don't know. I don't like how the back gesture changes with every situation. Also, the control center must change. It just takes so long to switch to another Wi-Fi network. Like, okay, let's touch this, go back, 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 and then we're gone. Why cannot be like this? Much faster. Also, one other huge complaint is this thing. Lightning. Now yes, the iPhone 15 has USB-C. I don't care. Apple, you took so long to implement USB-C on the iPhone, and you were the first ones to force us to use it with the MacBook 2015, the entire saga of the butterfly keyboard MacBook Pros, the MacBook Air, the iMac. You were so annoying with USB-C. Everybody had to get dongles. Everything was USB-C. You even put it on the iPad Pro and the iPad Air and the iPad 10, but not on the iPhone, where it actually mattered the most. The Lightning port and the connector is designed absolutely awful. Look, I repair phones. You don't know how many Lightning ports I've had to clean out, because bucket dust and like dirt and sand gets onto these things, and it's absolutely annoying to get out. I have to get like a flashlight and like crouch in it and like be like scooping it out with like a SIM ejector tool. Like this. For 40 minutes. It takes so long. Because dust gets right to the bottom of it. Because there's nothing to stop it from moving. And it's so complicated to get something in there and like scoop it out. You can't have to like spoon it out, you know? Do it on something this small. It's absolutely annoying. Also, how many lightning cables have I gone through? Like, okay, sometimes you get that one cable that lasts a long time, but for the rest, it's constantly. It's every like 2 months I have to buy a new lightning cable because something happens to it, you know, I use it wrong, I guess. Then I have to do this business to make sure that it's like a stress relief for the lightning cable. Also, they are extremely short. This is 1 meter. And the longer you go, the less it's going to last. It sucks. Also, the USB bus in this thing is absolutely a joke. First of all, fast charging is limited to MFI compatible chargers. So if you try to be smart and buy one of these Lightning to USB-C adapters, yes, it works. At 5 watts, that's it. One of my favorite things is connecting my laptop charger to my Pixel 4a and have it charged in like 20 minutes. Like really. I don't plug this in overnight anymore. I just plug it in, take a shower, and when I'm done, it's like 100% or like 80. And the data transfer speeds are absolutely a joke. Like, and it's still a joke in the iPhone 15. USB 2? Really? I mean, you can make the argument that, oh, not everybody is transferring data in the year 2024. And yeah, that's right. That phone costs €1,000. No, I don't care that not everybody transfers data on a computer anymore. It's €1,000. You're spending €1,000 on a phone or 700 and getting speeds from 2004. It's absolutely insulting how long it takes to back up an iPhone 15. I know that because I did the math. Warning, you're approaching nerd time. So speed of USB 2.0 is 480 megabit per second. Divided by 8, you get the megabytes. So theoretical max speed is 60 megabits per second, but you're never gonna get that, so let's get like 80%. So let's say 48 megabytes per second is the maximum you're going to get. A lot of people are saying that 30 megabytes is the maximum. So to back up a full base model iPhone 15, which is 128 gigabytes, it would take about this amount of seconds, which is this amount of minutes, 44 minutes. But if we do it according to this user from this Stack Exchange thread, it will be this much or over an hour. But that's for the base model. Because the maximum you can get with your iPhone 15 Plus is 512 gigabytes at 1.5K. So it would take, just 4 hours to back up that phone. See the problem? You can spend 1.5 grand on a phone and have to spend 4 hours backing it up. It's nuts. We have to spend like $300 just to get a phone that's actually a flagship phone. And let's get to the whole pricing model of the iPhone now. Because now when you get the new phone, the new like base model, I just want something, the new phone, something modern, that's it. You get last year's phone, but bad. If you want the cool new interesting features, you gotta spend amount of money that would spend on like a laptop, like a MacBook, or a gaming PC, or like a motorcycle, or I don't know, rent. It's kind of hilarious that I've been getting ads to upgrade from the iPhone 12 to the 15, and they're advertising features that are from like the iPhone 13 and 14. Like, really, Apple? Like, also let's talk about the whole everyone is suing Apple thing. I kind of want to make a separate video about this. The EU with USB-C and sideloading, yes, and now the US Department of Justice is suing Apple. Honestly, fuck you, Apple. You are so goddamn annoying. Like, oh my god. Their excuse for soldering down the SSD on the MacBook is security. macOS has had File Vault for like 15 years. It's worked fine. I don't think anyone has actually cracked File Vault. It's fine! So having everything be about security when for 15 years you haven't managed to secure down your phone operating system so it cannot be hacked with like jailbreaks? You're trying to tell me that preventing sideloading is for security? You cannot even do it yourselves! I mean, with iOS 16, Apple finally killed jailbreaking. I am not mad at all. I miss jailbreaking. I honestly think that it was better than like rooting an Android phone. Yeah. Honestly, I'm fine with not spending €800 on basically a mid-range phone. Because of what it is. Like an iPhone 13 from 2021 is still going for like, what, 700? It's a mid-range phone from then at 700 now. And look, I'm not comparing Apple to Android/PC. Has never been about, oh, the price. Okay, the price, okay, Apple always loses. Like, I don't think I have to say why I'm even mentioning this. The Pixel 7a, the Nothing Phone 2a, the Galaxy A54, the like $400 from this year. This rant went on forever. Let's talk about the iPhone finally. Okay, I want to finish off on some good stuff. Come at me, Android people. I prefer the widgets in iOS. It just has way better information density. You can fit way more widgets in like a 4x something grid. Android widgets struggle with like low space, and fitting two widgets on the same width is really complicated. And I don't know, I just think they're really space inefficient. Also, I don't know, I just like how iOS looks, but if they gave me my actual sideloading and not that alternative app store bullshit, maybe I'd care more about if iOS looks good. Whoa. Some more good things I have to say is that the built-in apps are pretty good. Google's alternatives to Apple Notes, Reminders, Calendar, they're pretty bad on mobile and absolutely horrible on the desktop. I don't want to have to open my web browser just to look at a reminder. I don't know, I just really like the Notes app. It's very good, and it's very fast, and it works. And on the desktop, on the Mac, it's also really good. It's not Google Keep, which is pretty ass. Okay, one final complaint. Transferring files from iPhone to even a Mac is pretty broken. It's almost impossible to get every picture through. There's always something that's missing. Either if you do it from image capture or the Photos app or like a full system backup, it just never works right. I absolutely hate it. It also has smartwatches that aren't the Apple Watch just don't work quite as well. Like with my Pebble, I cannot send replies from here. It sucks. And you know what? Honestly, at the end of the day, it just does the same thing that Android does. Yes, you can run like Linux terminals on this stuff, but who is actually doing that? At the same time, you can use AirDrop on this. No, you're not using it because it's absolutely garbage and it does not work. So really, the final message that I want to give is that the iPhone is overrated. Because yes, there's actually good stuff and there's good reasons to use an iPhone, but I just feel like everybody has this picture that the iPhone is such an amazing phone when it's average. Look, the iPhone is good, and Apple has done a lot of stuff to finally fix all of people's complaints about it, like, customization and widgets and all that stuff. But it's also very not perfect. It has a lot of bugs, and if Apple continues to be such a horrible company, I don't know, like, I cannot continue being on an iPhone. I mean, with only this past year, we've seen Apple go so down with control over their own system, but they keep trying to grip on to whatever tiny control they can get via legal loopholes and things that the government forgot to add to the law. And honestly, I'm fine with an operating system that is also very good and that doesn't annoy me. Like, I don't have to worry about Google did something that I don't like and I have absolutely no choice over it. I can say, no, I don't want it. Because I can bet that every time that Apple does something that I don't like, I'm gonna have to live with it whether I like it or not. I wanna say something to the Android manufacturers. Dear brands, Samsung, Google, what the every new Samsung and every new Pixel has been getting closer and closer to the iPhone. Really, one of the biggest reasons of why I even thought it was acceptable to buy this phone was because what else can I buy? I like small phones. Nobody is making small phones anymore. Not even Apple, but they were the last ones. Because no, the Zenfone does not count. It's bigger and it's extremely expensive. And with every phone lacking a headphone jack, being ginormous, being absolutely impossible to repair, being very expensive to repair and to own, having such fantastic cameras and fantastic displays, they're just more expensive to fix. I thought that there was no reason to buy an Android phone anymore, because I thought that there was basically no reason to buy an Android because they're all iPhones, so I did buy an iPhone. But no, I was wrong. Turns out that I still like the almost an iPhone, but not really still Android, than an actual iPhone. Because as much as I don't truly love this new Material You thing, honestly, I don't care. I can sideload the app for my Pebble smartwatch, which I'm going to wear with pride until it dies. I can use USB-C without having to spend a fortune to get that phone. I have an always-on display because, again, I'm not buying a Pro iPhone. It's a phone, it's a cell phone. Why is it a Pro phone? Why is it the only one that has the new features that Android has had since like 2015? Because yes, the iPhone has features that Android has, but in Android you don't need to have the like super expensive top model. And not then tell me, oh, just save up for a phone. No, it's a phone. If I have $1,000, I would rather spend it on, I don't know, a camera. Food for like 4 months. Not for a phone, which I will have like 40 of them. This phone already has TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and all this addicting stuff. Why do I need a more expensive version of what's essentially the same thing? Just toxic images streamed to the back of my head. This was a pretty interesting rant of Apple and the iPhone and all that stuff. I guess the main points that I want to say is that no, I don't like the iPhone. I tried so hard to like the iPhone 12 mini, but just cannot do it. I really regret spending €350 on that phone. For now, the Pixel 4a is perfectly fine. I like this phone. It's not as small as I would like it to be, especially with a case, but I don't care. It's a good phone. I like the pixels. The 3 is one of my favorite phones. I would still use it, but it died. The screen is completely dead. So yeah, I have other things to say. My voice is completely fucked. And this is my manifesto of why, okay, for the future me, when I think of buying another iPhone, because I'm sure I will, watch this video. Don't do it again. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.